Hello, everyone.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and we're talking about training. Welcome to our podcast.
It's a great way to start. I think
It
August,
is.
we have
Ah,
lots of time before the half and full. So,
yeah, for sure. Yes, please lunch. We're going to talk about eating, especially when you're training for a half and full marathon. Food is our friend. Food
yeah.
and water.
Yeah. It wasn't until I ran the last half that I actually discovered those stinger waffles, and they actually do
Oh,
help
yeah.
quite a bit, and they don't taste half bad either.
No, no, they're really good and they go down pretty easy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about fueling and kind of throughout your training,
Mhm.
experimenting, because you don't want to experiment on race day, my friends. Done that before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. We'll give it maybe a couple minutes. I know people are transitioning. We're still in Zoom land of back-to-back meetings, but welcome to our endurance talk today. Happy Monday. Let's see, I'm just looking at names here if I recognize. Good, scratched my glasses. It's time to get a new pair.
Lauren, would you want me to run the slides, or would you like to do it?
Um, oh, you want to do it? You
Uh,
can.
I just want to see, just making sure to take off presenter mode here.
Yeah, or I can.
Ooh. Okay.
Yay, I'm so glad you're motivated. Awesome. All right. What time are we at here? 12:01. We'll give about 30 more seconds. I feel like we should have some like hardcore fun music to get everybody pumped. Hey, Mary. Okay, I see Tamara. Hi.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, sorry, Lauren. My PowerPoint is struggling.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't
Is it?
mind sharing.
Okay.
That way I don't have to say next slide every 2 minutes. Next slide, please. How's everyone doing today? Are we feeling motivated on a Monday? So maybe share in the comments how you're feeling about thinking about completing a half or a full marathon, whether you're going to sign up for the Seattle half and full, or maybe this is something you want to do on your own just to, see if you can complete the distance. Motivated. All right. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share. A little anxious. Me too. I am every race, every race, but excited too. Great. Gonna go ahead and share my screen. Can I have a thumbs up from somebody? You can see my PowerPoint here. Yep, good. All right, well, we're going to dive in because I do know it's lunchtime, and some of you are probably trying to get in your lunch, listen to me talk about endurance training, and I'd like a little bit of time at the end for any sort of question. If you have a really personal question around these distances, I am absolutely happy to speak with you, set up a 15-minute Zoom call, and talk about your own personal plan or how we can adjust the plans after reviewing it, okay? Well, welcome to the UW Endurance Club. I want to take a few seconds to thank UW Medicine. UW Medicine every year, this is our third or fourth year where they have sponsored this group and this program, and that allows us to offer some in-person training potentially and some seminars along the way. My name is Lauren Updyke, and I'm your Executive Director for Employee Experience. So that includes the whole UW Combined Fund Drive and UW Work Life. And I'm also the UWHR Chief of Wellness. So just a little bit of background about me, your coach. So I am your coach for this next 17 weeks so that you feel, I threw in a couple of things that you could learn about me so you feel safe and you know that I've got you and I've got plenty of experience, not only as a runner, both at an elite level, but also as a recreational level now, and as a certified coach. So I started running in the 6th grade, primarily to find friends. Maybe raise your hand if middle school was a rough time for you too. And I heard over the announcements that the track team trained every day at lunch. And so that was kind of my way as a shy girl at the time to find some friends that maybe had some similar interest and some kindness. Eventually, years later, I grew into running was a sport that I really grew into. I was ranked second in Canada when I was 18 in the 5K. And that's about it. So I'm really proud of it. I ended up running in Louisiana. I was a track and field athlete. I ran the mile, the 5K, 10K, and I had the pleasure and privilege to compete the first year women were allowed to compete in the steeplechase at a national level. I then went on to my career at Duke University, Duke Hospital is leading their wellness program. And I thought, hey, we should start like a running club for walkers and runners and anybody that just kind of wanted to connect. We grew it to over 500 participants and we would compete in 5Ks and half marathons together. I have coached broadly for local races and international races, including the Great Wall of China. I have completed 33 marathons. Still can't believe that. Many of them were Boston. On my 40th birthday, I had a goal of running 40 miles with about 50 family friends and my husband driving that 8-mile loop in the car for anybody that needed a break. So it was really fun experience. And that led to, kept going and I ended up completing the 50K Badwater ultramarathon. Made the mistake of not looking at the course and the night before realized 20 miles of it was on the beach. So, sometimes I like to kind of share my kind of resume in the running world. Again, I've been serious. I've been recreation running, saved my life, changed my life, and is a really great way to kind of stretch your ability. And some days you don't have a watch, and most days I'm just grateful that I can still do it at 47. So this picture, these are my girlfriends that I met when I was 14 years old. And a couple of years ago, we met in Austin, Texas, and ran a half together and had a great time. One ran for Notre Dame, one ran for Florida State, and one is a 3-hour, she broke 3 hours in the marathon a few years ago. Running creates community, connection throughout this 17 weeks. Put yourself out there, reach out to me or other people that, your colleagues here at University of Washington. Running so full of kindness. These events are nothing but positive. So that community, really tap into it. If you feel brave enough to do that, I know we work in a really large institution. Some of you are at the hospital, some of you are on campus, some of you are fully remote. So however you can connect with us, your experience in these distances will be extremely enhanced. So first things first, we need to make the commitment. So raise your hand if you've already committed. You are all in. This may be your first time, your 12th time, your second time. You are ready this week to get going. Okay, great. For those of you that aren't, that is totally okay. Maybe after today's presentation, the anxiety around this distance maybe kind of goes away a little bit and you feel like you're fully supported. But it's very important to make that commitment. Very important. That's your first step. The second step in training for a half and full marathon is really figuring out your goals. Are you here because you want to finish? Maybe you want to run the whole way. Maybe you want to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Maybe you just want something that's consistent, something that really brings you that feeling of accomplishment. Whatever those are, try to take some time tonight and reflect and think about what is your ultimate goal in completing this distance. maybe set 2 or 3. We're going to review the plans kind of briefly today, but you really need to look at your plan thoroughly. I have created these plans. They are evidence-based. They are not something that you're going to find on the Google. And why I came up with the plans of a 3-day approach is because, raise your hand if running is not your entire world. You work full time, you have children, you love to travel, you have really great friends, you have a life outside of running a half or a full marathon, right? And so I take into that account of 3 days a week is all you need, folks, promise. The other days, you can do active movement, yoga, strength training, all the other things. And number one, if you're over the age of 40, rest, right? Rest is really, really important for us to repair. The fourth kind of tip of training together is get in front of your training runs and put those suckers on your calendar. Those long runs, the first couple of weeks are like, I can do 2 miles, that's no problem. But once we get into those really long runs, it's really good to have on your calendar so that when you are planning, family trips or get-togethers or events outside of work, at least you have it on your calendar so you can kind of move things about. Next is tell your support what you're doing. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your partner, tell your kids, tell your mom, tell somebody, post it on social media. Again, community is everything. Accountability is key. And so when you kind of voice that of like, my team and I do this too, right? I'll be like, who's doing a half marathon or what's in the pipeline? And we kind of hold each other, accountable. And then lastly, have fun. Running, in my opinion, is one of the hardest things to do, but you have to find the joy in it. And a key that I've learned over the years is to not be so hard on yourself during training. It should not make or break your day. You're going to have a great run. You're going to have a really crappy run. You're going to go through it in 17 weeks. So do your best not to be hard on yourself. Every season's different. Every year's different. Whether it's we're older or we don't have as much time or we're in a harder position at work or our personal life looks a little different. Every year is different. So do your best not to compare yourself to maybe the first time you've done this distance when you were 22, or maybe even last year when you had more time to recover, or whatever that situation may be. So about the training, I'm just going to spend a few minutes looking at each plan. So here are your options. So we've got 2 options for the marathon. We're either running it and walking through those water stops, or we're run walking it throughout. And then for the half marathon, because of the time, we're either running it, we're run walking it, or we're walking it. So we're going to start with the walk. So all the plans are day 1, day 2, day 3. And I did this because I don't know what you all are doing on a Monday, right? Monday could be a day that you're with your kids, or maybe that's your long work day, or maybe that's your shift day. And Monday is not a day you can put in the mileage. So you get to decide your day 1, day 2, day 3 each week. As you can see for the walker, you should be able to walk up to 2 miles now. If not, shoot me an email and we can chat and I can kind of help progress a little bit slower for you. But we have a base training, right? So we have about 4 weeks of base. And then I tried to add a little intensity just to make that 13 miles at the end of 17 weeks feel a little bit more comfortable, especially with that nice hilly course. So when you get into September, you'll notice that I have a little bit of intensity there. So you'll walk 10 minutes easy, then you'll pick up the pace, move those arms for 10 minutes hard, and then go back down to 10 minutes easy. And that's just to train. We eventually get up to 15 minutes hard. That's and 20. And that way, once we get to race day and those hills, that up Aurora, if that's still the course, that's a fun hill. That'll give you a little bit more preparation. Okay, so walking, it's all about those distances, getting in those distances. The run walk, if you're registering, I don't know what that was. If you're registering to compete, or if you're not even competing in the Seattle half, that's fine, but you want to still do this distance, I threw in some intervals for you, and that'll help your fitness and kind of grow that ability to run a little bit more comfortably. So as you can see, the science behind it, you start with 10 sets. So what that means is we walk for 10 minutes, and then 10 times you jog for a minute, you walk for a minute. You jog for a minute, you walk for a minute. Thumbs up, that makes sense? It's okay to have that question because a lot of people are like, what is sets and reps? And that's totally normal. So as you notice, I like to do really slow progression. So we kind of test your body. You're like, oh, that was pretty difficult. The next week, oh, that's actually getting a little bit better. Oh, I'm actually mastering it. Okay, so maybe you pick up the pace. And then you'll notice we go down to 8 sets, but you increase the amount of time you run. So now you're running for 2 minutes and walking for a minute, and so forth. We go down to 6 sets. We increase our running, but we still keep that minute walk. And that's where you're going to notice your fitness changing and improving. A lot of questions I get is for day 3, that distance. If you're a run walker, the question I get a lot is, well, how much do I run? How much do I walk? Well, that's up to you because every week's going to change. I strongly recommend you don't walk more than 2 minutes, but your distance day should be very easygoing. If anything, it's more your body's breaking down, not your cardiovascular system. Okay, so you kind of get to choose how much you run, how much you walk. Half marathon run out there. Raise your hand if that is the plan you are doing. I find that's usually the most popular. We are going for it. All right, we got a lot of people doing that. Okay. So you have a little bit of a different intensity here. You've got 3 days of quality work. Day 1, eventually after we do a little bit of a base, and you could already be running 2 to 3 miles every other day. So feel free, this week, if a 2-mile run is not that much for you, feel free to add more, not too much more, because I will get you eventually. But eventually day 1 is intervals. And this is where you choose the intensity. So out there, I probably have some of you that can run 8-minute mile pace, some of you 7-minute mile pace, some of you 12-minute mile pace. But it's the same workout. And you change it based on your pace of that fast, hard run. So just like the run walk, we're going to do a 10-minute warm up, and you're going to do 10 sets of 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. That hard, I want it hard. So that should be faster than your race pace. So if you're already a half marathoner and you normally run maybe the half marathon in 2 hours and 10 minutes, so you're around a 9:30, 10-minute pacer, I want your 1 minute hard faster than kind of that 9-minute pace, okay? And then you've got day 2 is your moderate effort. So moderate is, maybe you're running with your colleague or your partner or a good friend. You can carry a conversation, but you're kind of uncomfortable. So you should feel a little bit uncomfortable. And maybe even like, I'm a big believer in that last half mile, like finish strong. So if you're at, if you're running 3 miles and you're already at 2.5, you look at your friend or you look at yourself and you're like, all right, half mile, let's book it and see what we got going, what we have left. That'll give you a lot of confidence. Your day 3 is your distance. Distance day is slow. So slow that you feel great, you can carry a conversation, and that you're ready for the next week. Okay, so that's like your zone 1, zone 2, your heart rate's pretty low, you're burning that body fat, and you're training your endurance system. A lot of people struggle with that, especially if you are someone who likes to kind of, check your watch, check your Strava, all that stuff. I challenge you all to go really slow on that day 3, okay? On that distance day. All right, marathoners, do we have any marathoners? or future marathoners? Oh, we do. Okay, then I will go into it. All right, full marathon run walk. There is a famous coach out there, Jeff Galloway. He's actually from Raleigh, close to where I worked at Duke. And I remember years ago, I emailed him because I'm like, how are your 3-hour marathoners walking? Like, how do you possibly get that little bit of like that time of like going from running a 7-minute mile to walking? But he swears by it. There's a ton of research by it. There is nothing wrong with run walking a marathon. In fact, you recover a lot faster, and throughout your week, you definitely feel like you have more energy. So, this is the route you're going. This is great. So, we've got it's kind of the same thing, right? We've got interval day, we have moderate effort, and then we have our distance day. So just like in the half marathon, you choose that run walk schedule. So if it's like 3-minute run, 1-minute walk, or 6-minute run, 1-minute walk, definitely encourage maybe no more than one to 1.5 minute walk in between, just because sometimes you can kind of get in a rut. So it's good to kind of give yourself a little mental break, get some oxygen flowing through all the muscles, and then get back into the run part. So same thing on your intervals. Those are your hard days. You're working really hard. You're burning a lot of carbohydrate, and you're increasing your fitness right here. And then we've got your kind of moderate effort, but you're run walking it. I just put a suggestion in there this time because I get a lot of questions of like, well, how much should I run? How much should I walk? So kind of your standard base would be to run 3 minutes, walk a minute, but at a moderate level. So you're walking pretty quick. And then we get down into here to these great, who's excited for that 20-mile run? It's gonna be awesome. So we'll talk a little bit about how you tackle those. But as you can see, I have built in plenty of time for things to happen. Whether you're traveling, maybe your calf is feeling hurt, maybe you're tired, something happened at work. So this progression is really nice. We have anywhere from 1 to 2 mile progression each week. And if you ever get into a position where you're like, oh my gosh, I missed 2 long runs, Lauren, what do I do? Trust me, it'll take me 10 minutes to figure out how we can kind of regroup and shape the next few weeks for you. I like to give plenty of recovery between that last long run. So I gave you a little bit of a wiggle room of 20 to 21 miles. If this is your first marathon ever, 20s is fine. Everyone asks, why am I not running the 26 before I run the 26? Well, don't try it. You don't want to try it. The reason why we put here distance days are slow, time without pressure, because you actually because you're going so slow, you end up, you want that time on your legs. You want, almost 4 hours on your body before you compete. If you do that 26 too early, by the time you get to the race, you're too exhausted. So you have to just trust that process. Okay? And then lastly, we'll go right into that run. Same thing, we give you a really good base. In the beginning, we get you up to an 8-mile, and then we slowly progress you up into 20 to 21. However, the runners out there for that marathon, I threw in a tempo. Tempo training is fantastic for your mental toughness. Tempo training right here, like the mile hard, 2 miles hard, you can see we progress right up to about 5 miles. If you're someone that's wanting to qualify for the Boston Marathon, again, shoot me an email. I'm happy to add some more intensity for you and get you that goal. But those hard runs should definitely be faster than your race pace, and you should feel uncomfortable the whole time. That not only will train your fitness physiologically, but it will train that mental side. Sorry if I'm going too fast. I'm trying to get lots in here. All right, so things to expect training for a half and a full marathon. Well, you're going to experience some really, really great accomplishments. And these are great. So because Number one, they give us confidence, right? You finally start to trust your training, maybe your body more. And these are the moments that you're like, this is why I'm doing it. You're feeling really good. So physiological progress, so your cardiovascular system becomes more efficient and you end up adapting to that workload. So you'll notice we kind of take a couple weeks before we move to the next stress load. Mental momentum. So you'll build resilience and belief, right? So every strong run becomes this like mental bookmark that you can return to that on your race days. So when you are in that race on November 30th, I encourage you all to like journal or write it down or print out the plan and write down things and maybe heart the runs that you just really, really kicked major butt in so that you can go back in the race day. And when it gets tough in the race, you can think, you know what? I did that 21 miles and it was this degrees and it was this hilly and I didn't sleep the night before, but I still did it. Running is so much about self-talk and mental toughness than it is physical. And then when we have these great runs or great walks, our motivation increases, right? So raise your hand if you've, had some really awesome workout and you just that's why you're more consistent or you get really excited about it. Yeah. So I thought I'd start with the positive part of the running. There's always, again, raise your hand if you've had a setback in this fun sport or, maybe it's an injury or maybe you didn't quite get to the race or something happened. Yeah. So this is kind of I want to help you with these setbacks. And again, I'm here. So feel free to message me on Teams or email if something's going on. Last season, a couple of you did, and we kind of worked through it and I showed you some exercises to do. But injuries and fatigue, so oftentimes setbacks, that's just our body needing adjustment, right? Training is a science that we studied and researched, but it's also an art. We're all different. We're all made differently. Our lives are different. How we fuel our body is different. So if you're feeling fatigue or a minor injury, we just have to adjust. We have to adjust your pace, maybe adjust your race. Maybe you're going back to back. 90% it could be your nutrition, could be sleep or stress. Also, setbacks, that's an opportunity for mental growth, right? So we learn to kind of manage frustration. In the beginning, I said, like, none of us are being paid to run professionally. We can take it serious, but not too serious, right? So like you're going to have these setbacks, but it really kind of helps our brains grow and manage things and maybe recalibrate some expectations and give us some testing for our patience. Training adaptations, we talked about that of just your body doesn't just grow stronger during the runs, it grows during recovery from the stress. So you may just need a little bit more rest. If you are over the age of 40 or possibly in menopause, we can talk about that too, of just how much rest your body needs to recover, but you still can do the distance. We just have to kind of be smarter in our training. And then always remember this marathon, half marathon training, it's a long game. So one bad run does not predict your progress or your race. So do your best not to give up. You're going to get through it. But I guarantee you're going to have a rough training every once in a while. But it kind of gives you an opportunity to look back of like, okay, well, I did go to dinner and maybe I had an extra glass of wine and not enough water, right? You can kind of evaluate and look back of maybe why that training workout wasn't your best, and then you can kind of recalibrate. Speaking of nutrition, so full disclosure, back in my Duke days, I managed about 25 dietitians. I've been around nutrition for many, many years, but I'm not a registered dietitian. So these are just suggestions. This is not a prescription. I definitely can prescribe exercise, but not nutrition. This is just based on, facts and research and personal experience. So hopefully you're not doing this distance because you're looking at it as a caloric deficit. You're looking, we really need to fuel our body. So I definitely don't recommend not fueling your body and training. Number one, we got to prioritize carbs. Raise your hand if you love carbohydrates. Fruits, vegetables, sweet potato, rice, pasta. Yes, you need this. You need this or your runs will never be enjoyable. And I definitely challenge you to go for a run with just protein and fat, and then try maybe 2 days later adding some carbs, and you will really love your run much, much more. So carbs are good. They're also really good for your brain. So productivity at work, we need to fuel our brains with carbohydrates. Protein. So you may want to increase your protein a little bit, especially, during meals or after you work out. That will support muscle repair. So 20 to 30 grams per meal, ideally at least. Healthy fats, that'll help aid in recovery. So those good fats like nuts, seeds, avocado, olive oil. I'm sure you've all heard the importance of some healthy fats. And most importantly, hydration. Don't wait until you're thirsty. If you're thirsty on your runs, we're in trouble. We learn and we don't do it again. And then maybe on your heavier days, you want to add kind of those electrolyte run gels and, Powerade, Gatorade, all those things. You definitely want to get used to it. It's not my favorite, but that's all they offer in the race. So if you're not practicing with that kind of stuff, sometimes that can really upset your stomach, and you may have a couple trips to the restroom throughout the event. So before our runs, we want to have a carb-rich meal, 2 to 3 hours before. I understand if your morning run is at 6 in the morning, I do not recommend waking up at 3 and eating. So maybe have much bigger dinner before your long run. But yeah, anything like kind of a combo of carb and maybe a little bit of protein, but mostly carbohydrate. Good snack before. So if you're someone who runs after work, maybe 3 o'clock, grab banana, granola bar, just something quick, just to give a little bit of extra energy for your workouts. Long runs, you want to fuel every 30 to 45 minutes. And again, you don't have to take notes. I'm totally going to send you all this PowerPoint. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that. But yeah, we need to fuel on those long runs every 30 to 45 minutes. Raise your hand if you know all about those gels and chews. Whew. How come someone hasn't invented a better option? They never go down easy for me, but I definitely recommend you practice before you get to the event. Those can be a little bit hard on your stomach, so it's good to practice. But yeah, you got to fuel yourself, every 30 to 45 minutes. So practice with the race day products. We got to check. I'm going to do a race day prep in the next couple weeks for this group, but we got to see, what are they giving at the race? Are they giving out Gatorade, and what kind of goos or gels are they giving? So that's what we're going to train with, so we get used to it. And then stay hydrated again, right? You're going to sip on water. My own personal tip that I like to do when I train with my clients or my friends or even by myself, on those long runs, every 2.5 miles, I stop, I drink my drink, and then I go. It's kind of my own little mental break, especially in the heat. And then after your run, refueling within 30 to 60 minutes. That is very important, especially if you're doing those long runs in the morning on the weekends and you come home and you have your cup of coffee and then you pass it on the couch. Do your best to think ahead. And, chocolate milk's a really good option to have before you have your meal, or a smoothie, or maybe a quick sandwich. But you really need to refuel to help your body recover. And then rehydrate. This is my daughter in one of my runs. It's always fun to, invite people to your event, whether you're doing it, outside of the race or not, or maybe you're doing another race. Having some people on the course is always nice. Not necessary, but it's a little bonus. Long runs is always the question I get, so just a couple extra tips. Hydrate. You are now in a 17-week training plan of drinking water and going pee all day long. But I promise you will increase your performance by 20%. And so you'll really see the great benefits. So we'll be peeing together. Eating well, right? So make sure the day before your long run, maybe you're not eating something new or going to a different restaurant you've never tried before. So maybe familiar foods, and then sleep. Really try to prioritize your sleep the day and 2 days before that long run. So your Thursday, Friday, do your best to shut down your computer, tell your work colleagues that you've got a long run in the weekend and you're signing off at 5 or 6 o'clock. I'm just joking, but definitely prioritize your sleep. And then some of you, again, I'm going to send this to you, but we're going to go into race details. So the race that some of you may be signing up with that 15% discount is Sunday, November 30th, marathon and half marathon. We go bright and early, and then they have, the fun little expo Friday or Saturday before, depending on how many people are doing it. If we want to meet up and connect before or meet up that morning, I am open to doing that as well. And then last, I know I said it in the beginning, but you've got this. The first step is even thinking about doing a distance like this. This is a sport that I am truly in love with. So I am happy to serve as your virtual coach, and definitely keep me posted along the way. Before we jump into questions, I am going to pass the baton to Sebastian, who is on my team, who I challenged for a whole year to run a mile a day. So Sebastian and I are hilarious. We text each other after work, before work, with our mile update. So yeah, I'm going to pass the baton to Sebastian. Sebastian is leading the endurance club. So I am your virtual coach, but Sebastian is managing all of the events throughout the next 3 months.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Yes, as Lauren just said, we will, alongside the training plans that Lauren has already built out and uh, center, we'll be sending to everybody. We also will have virtual web seminars as well to kind of support each main topic of the run of running the half and full marathon. So, for example, in September we'll have a session on injury prevention. October will be on fueling. We have already a few speakers confirmed for that are training either training runners themselves, or have treated runners. So we're talking about specialists from UW Athletics, um, specialists from UW Medicine, and also I believe there's maybe one more surprise speaker that I won't say too much about, but there are new changes to the course if you ran last year on the Seattle Half and Full Marathon. But we're trying to get a speaker that could speak about the new course changes from the actual Seattle Marathon Association this year. But many more to come. But
Okay.
I'm sure you've already signed up for the Endurance Club already, hence why you are here. But please stay tuned for more of those dates and links to register to those events.
Yeah, and I think the last thing we're working on is we'll be sending out a very short questionnaire around if any of you would want to connect in person. So in the past, we've rented the UW track. So we're looking at renting the UW track a couple times a month in the evening time. And that would be for anybody that would want to get together and actually do one of the workouts. But because it's on the track, we're kind of all together. Sometimes running clubs, it's hard because everyone's at different paces. So we tend to separate. So that's something that we may end up doing. And if you're interested in it, if we get enough people, we're more than willing to rent the track for you all. Great. So any questions? We've got about 12 minutes, or are you all up for us putting in breakout rooms and just give an opportunity to introduce yourself to maybe, 10 other colleagues?
I think we did get a few questions.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are a little bit in depth, but I hope to, when we have more of our specialists time to be able to answer them. But I think there are definitely a few about the presentation, Lauren, if we can answer a few of them. I think one of them was any advice on pre and post run, walk, hydration meal? Sorry if this was already, oh, sorry, you may have touched on that very briefly in that slide, so that will be shared as well. But
Yep.
um, I think Rebecca asked if any advice on shin splints, best way to avoid or recover. Um, I
Yes,
think a couple
Rebecca,
people.
That is a really good question, and it's super common. So, shin splints basically are like the little attachments to your shins getting inflamed, and it could be just your gait, or it could be just, the way your body is made. And when you run, you tend to be, you run more kind of on the back of your feet, so then you stress your shins. But I recommend a really great warm up walking. I also recommend, and I'm happy to send you, I've done this for people because it's very common, a short little video on how to strengthen your shins. But throughout your day, just sitting at your chair and tapping your feet, so lifting your toes up, that's going to strengthen the shin muscles around. You can also cross your legs and with your toes and ankle outline the alphabet. So even doing that now, like doing an A and then a B, you can, even if you put your hand on your shin, you can feel those muscles kind of working. That'll strengthen and prevent shin splints for your runs. Yeah, but happy to help. As long as both, sometimes when you just have the one side, that's when we kind of have to reevaluate the training and give you a little bit more exercise. But that's a really great question. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
Oh,
just had
that's
maybe
great.
two more questions, or maybe the three. This one, Jason asked, it's a keto question. I'm hoping
Yeah.
perhaps we can save this for one of the RDs, but if Lauren, if you want to speak to it, is running a half marathon achievable staying on a keto diet?
Yeah, so congratulations on your weight loss. That's awesome, Jason, and happy to support you getting to your goal. It's fantastic, and the runs will definitely help. Maybe you just like the long runs and kind of those low zone days are fine, keeping those carbs low. Let's just maybe talk offline about the interval days, those days that you may need a little bit of extra carbs. So maybe there's a wiggle room, and maybe the source of carb. We can be a little bit more specific on what types of carbs can get you. Maybe we can throw in a piece of fruit. But I'm happy to work with you personally on that.
Then Habiba asked, thoughts on running shoes. I know there's definitely a lot of schools of thoughts on this, whether it's like a
Yeah, I
full,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the one advice again, like, I like to try all different ways, and what I've learned over the years is so our feet swell when we run. And so if you are going to go for this half and full marathon, and as your mileage increases and you're out there for longer, your feet are going to swell. So if you are going to go and get a new running shoe, you want to go half to a full size, bigger than your normal shoe. So if you're normally a size 9, then you would go more 9.5, 10 in your running shoe for this type of training. Seattle's full of running stores. Strongly recommend. I mean, if you're going to pay for not only the race, but something else, it would be in your shoes over your attire. So definitely shoes are important for this type of distance. So a lot of the like fleet feets out there, they'll do your gait analysis, right? Um, or Brooks. But usually your most popular half marathon and marathon shoes brands would be Brooks and Asics. They're not as cute as the Nike. I've tried Nike. Actually, my last marathon, I had someone come up to me and say, "Did you actually run the marathon in those shoes?" I don't know. Yeah. They were cute shoes, but probably not the best shoes. Let's see. Yes, Deborah, I'll include on the presentation the map.
oh, oh,
Thanks
perfect. Thanks,
so
Lauren. Yeah, I
much.
also just found it here from the Seattle Marathon Association. They just have a Google Maps they just published in July for the route, and it looks quite neat. It's all on Google Maps now.
Oh, cool. Great. And then, okay, Mary, so if your race is in March, yeah, we want to backtrack to 17, but I'm happy, 17 weeks, but I'm happy to meet with you offline and just kind of help develop a base for you so that you're ready for it when you start your training. Yeah, warm up and post-run stretches. I actually did a video, Tomoko, on this, so I'm happy to share that too, or we'll get that up on the endurance page. Sebastian, can you share, if you can find it quick, the actual page? We do have an endurance page. I think it's under
Yes.
promotions.
Give me 1 second. I will pull it up right now.
And that'll be the page where we put any like videos. I also get a question around strength training. Strength training is definitely key. in your half marathon and marathon, happy to share some videos. But ideally, for a half and full marathon, strength training is usually kind of higher reps, lower weight, but any strength training will work. Yes, Roadrunner. Yeah, thanks, Anna. Any other questions? Is this a group? Is primarily you all are kind of wanting to do this solo or maybe sharing it with some of your friends or colleagues to do on your own, or are we wanting to create a community here?
Ooh, well, speaking of community, Lauren, I believe we are sending out invitations as well to our whole U community where we will be, post sharing. Everybody will be receiving links to every seminar or every virtual session and slides just by registering to the event. But if you would like to join the whole U community where we have, I think, over 500 or 600 people already who have joined, we will be hosting other things on there. Um, like a perhaps like an ask me anything if uh, Lauren would want to hop on
Yeah,
and answer
that's great.
anybody's questions via text or Teams.
Yeah, so on our Teams channel, we can create an endurance club channel.
Hmm.
Yes. So UW Medicine did start a running club. Jennifer, you're right. But we only had a couple people show up. The person that was leading it could only do it at 7 o'clock p.m., which is kind of a rough time. I think when did we launch that, Anna? It was earlier in the spring.
Around January, actually. So
Yeah, so it
it was
was like
kind of,
dark and
yeah, the timing just available for the folks who could commit to leading it was a bit late and a bit dark, and attendance kind of petered off pretty quickly. So those folks decided not to keep it going. But if, I'm always happy to connect to the people who are running it if there's new interest.
Mhm. And we could even connect you all, right? Like if you all wanted to meet somewhere after work, or if maybe we do try to rent the track one time, see how many people show. I like doing the workouts on the track or around Rainier Vista just because we're all kind of close. It's within like a 400-meter or half-mile distance, so nobody's alone. Kind of we're all
Hmm.
together. But we're happy to try it that too.
Yes, and I'll also plug a couple other clubs that I've also participated in and still go to here and there. I also see, hi Becky, I see you're also there. I met Becky at I believe it was Capitol Hill Run Club or no, actually it was at UW, but we also ran together there. There are if you're in the Seattle area, Capitol Hill meets at Cal Anderson every Thursday evening around 6 p.m. To do like a 5K and CSRD, which is like a uh, another large running group that meets down in South Lake Union at the Museum of History and Industry also meets at 6:30 every Monday. They are all paces, all faces. You can come, walk it, run it, however you feel. And everybody's very, very kind.
Love that. Maybe put that on the Endurance Club page too.
Will do. I'll add those on there.
Yeah. And if anybody else is part of a running club that you're wanting to, oh, there we go. Yeah, Eric just put a meetup. Yeah, there's running clubs all over. And even if you're someone who's kind of shy or, have never been part of something, I've never met a mean runner. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like runners are just super kind and, inclusive. So the more running clubs we can put on our page just to help spread the word, because I know we're all kind of spread out in different places, um, the better. But with that, all right, I wish all of you the absolute best. We definitely, the whole U is here for you. We're happy to, I do love Green Lake too, Sebastian. Yeah, that's great. Or Jennifer. That's usually where I run when I'm in town. Um, if you all need anything, again, don't be shy. Let me know. Happy to help, whether you're racing or not. And hey, if there's a colleague or a friend that would benefit from the plan, share. And let's keep growing this community. I hope everybody has a great week and a great first training week.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
You bet. Bye, everyone. See you later. Enjoy that 10 minutes. See ya. Bye. Bye, Ori. See ya.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.